All right, ladies and gentlemen, mostly gentlemen, welcome back to This Week in Base Hit, where we're turning it into a Mets holiday. I am your host, Zubaz, joined as always by my friend, Citizen Clone. Clone, how was your week?
It was Mets focused. Uh,
Mets,
this is
Mets have
like,
created a gravity around themselves that the entire free agent market is swirling around what the Mets do and don't do.
yeah, it's interesting. I guess they're getting their headlines. We call this emergency Mets podcast.
This is an
You're
emergency Mets
showing up
podcast.
with your hat on and your picture, so I don't know if that's like you got a stance that you're taking here, or you just wanted to.
I don't have a stance, but I do want to just start by saying, like, even though like this hasn't been a great week for the Mets, we'll get into all of that. I think I want to start with the disclaimer that Base Hit had like our best friend in the world historically was Doc Gooden. Doc Gooden did a nice video for Base Hit. We got a bunch of gear that we gave away, including signed jersey of his. Still in my background for every podcast is this sweet ball that he signed for me for his no hitter back in
Oh, that's awesome.
'96.
That's awesome.
We love you,
Mets
Mets
love.
fans. But yeah, it was an interesting week, and the more that I thought about it, the more I was trying to get in the head of David Stearns, who
Yep.
is a former Brewers GM, and I
Yep.
kind of feel like I have an idea what he's trying to do, but we can talk about that more.
My
Obviously,
opinion is up
like
and down. I don't have a verdict. I mean so just to fill people in if they're not paying attention, yeah. So everything started moving at the winter meetings and coming into them, the Mets have a ton of money to spend. Money that came off the books last year. They were one of the highest two spending teams last year, so it's waiting to see what they're going to do. And the first thing they did was Devin Williams, which was a bit surprising, but then we didn't know coming in. So then first thing that came out was Schwarber signing back with Phillies, and the Mets had allegedly been, in the running there, so that didn't work out for them. Right after that was Devin Williams going to the Dodgers, and
Edwin Diaz going to the Dodgers.
Jesus Christ, Edwin Diaz. Yes, I mix them all together. Edwin Diaz going to the Dodgers, and you could hear, yeah. So there was
So
a lot of hand wringing right there.
all
Hmm?
four of the big pieces of news were either Mets going to Mets or linked to Mets. Because like what we talked about on our initial free agency show was that and I think I said specifically, I think the Mets plan is if they can't sign Alonso, they have to get Schwarber. I think that's how they're looking at it. And it,
Yeah,
it turned
yeah.
out that they didn't even put an offer on the
They didn't
table
put
for
an offer yet.
Alonso.
But yeah,
Uh,
Alonzo was the last one. So Alonzo, well, the last one so far, Alonzo signed with the Orioles. So, and they had already moved Nimmo. So,
yeah.
you know, uh, it could be in retrospect, but everybody saying, some of the three of the most beloved guys with the team that have been there forever, gone in a week. So there's a lot of tears and hand wringing and everything else. But I think after the initial shock, there's a lot of wait and see. Yeah, I was going to ask you about Stern. So you had the Brewers experience with him.
Yeah.
You had to have been happy with him, right?
Yeah. No, he is a very intelligent, shrewd guy. He does, and keep in mind he's the one that drafted Devin Williams. Like he has a relationship with
Yeah.
him, and trying to get in David Stern's head a little bit. What I think is happening as I've like deep dived the Mets over the last couple days is they have some infield talent on the way up with the Mets that was going to get blocked with guys like Jeff McNeil, Pete Alonzo. I think David Stearns like airs towards the idea of building a really strong farm system because he got very good at it in Milwaukee. And he thought if he could apply that to a big market team, they could get the best of both sides. So I think there may be some of that at play with the Simeon trade. But the letting Alonso thing go, I just got to mention, let's not forget how ugly last year got where they did not want to give Alonso a 5-year deal going into his age 30 season. And then they certainly were, and really the market was kind of thin for Alonso, so he came back on that prove it deal. He certainly proved it, but it didn't make warm the Mets up to the idea of now giving him 5 years at his 31 season. And so they didn't even put a shorter deal out there because I think they saw there was a market for Alonso at 5 years. So,
Yeah.
but not even putting an offer out there almost seems a little insulting too. Like at least give the guy the option of like inflate it for 2 or 3 years and just at least give him something. But I
I
don't know
never
how that
thought
works on the back end.
when we talked, I kind of thought Alonso wasn't going to go back there originally just because of, yeah, they were very lukewarm on him last year and specifically, and yeah, it was the market, but specifically at the end of the season, like 2 seconds after the season ended, there was a post-game
He
interview
was
and
already
somebody
talking.
asked Pete
Yeah.
Alonso, like, are you opting out? Yes.
Yes.
Like it was not even like there wasn't any other word said. He just, yeah. So
Yeah. It seemed like it was on his side too, right?
yeah, it was very clearly,
It was
yeah.
surprising he went to the Orioles. I still was shocked that he didn't go to the Red Sox, which has some downstream effects of what the Red Sox, I think, have to do now. But I was surprised. Like when we talked about it, you kept bringing up the Orioles, saying the Orioles have money to spend. And I was like, I just can't find a place for them on my board of where
Supposedly,
they're going to
supposedly
spend
they're
it.
looking for pitchers. I know absolutely first base was not the target, but who knows?
And then the Edwin Diaz thing was interesting because they did have a very similar offer on the table to him, 3 years, 66 million. Uh, and it makes you wonder if well, two things. First, to back up for a second, there was a lot of rumors, enough rumors where it's like the smoke fire type thing, where Edwin Diaz was upset that he wasn't at least consulted that they were going to sign Devin Williams. And I kind of understand that because with like the closer position, it's the closest thing in contractual terms to what a quarterback would feel, where it's like, oh, you're bringing in direct competition for me. This is one of the best closers in the game over the last 5 years. And you're going to, I mean, you can tell me he's a setup guy, but we all see what's happening here. And like I think he probably felt a little insulted. They didn't say, "No, no, no, man. You're the closer. Here's
Yeah, yeah.
66 million. We're just trying to bolster our bullpen."
You would think they could have handled that conversation if they had
Yeah.
things the right way, but I mean, I'm sure that you've heard. I mean, I know you hear the rumors, but that the clubhouse has not been in a great situation. But yeah, the Diaz reporting, if it's all right, um, they offered almost as much, and he didn't even come back to them to let them match
No.
because he didn't care about going back to the Mets. So he
Unlike
was
what
interested.
Schwarber did, which I thought was pretty cool, is two small market teams were really in for Schwarber. Pirates had a deal for him. I think it was 4 years, 125 million, and the Reds, his hometown Reds, had an offer in for him. And apparently, his agent went back to the Phillies and said, "Look, if you give us 5 years, 150 million, no questions asked, we're signing it." And they got that deal done in 8 hours. And so, like, that's what you do for your hometown,
Yeah, yeah,
for your current team if you like playing there.
yeah.
Edwin Diaz just said, "Dodgers, right? Yeah, where you got a pen? You got a pen
So
on
yeah,
you?" Yeah, and
and
he
that
was
could
gone.
be. I heard the same thing about him being unhappy about Devin Williams. I also heard they came out. I don't know if it was his agent. I can't remember who his agent, but there were a couple different things that he was supposedly unhappy with, and one of the stories was um, the Dodgers had signed his brother for like two
Oh
seconds,
yeah,
and his brother was like fawning, even though the Dodgers
they cut
released.
him after like 8 games or
Yeah,
something.
but
Yeah,
apparently he had like fawned over the Dodgers with Diaz. Yeah, just from that time, and maybe the Mets had him and cut him. I don't even know, but anyway, but that was supposedly there. But yeah, he didn't give him a chance to sign, and he wasn't interested. But when you hear, I don't know, going back to Stearns, and again, story isn't written. He could have a big plan, and I don't like just jumping on the
yeah,
bandwagon with it.
yeah,
But it seems like he's still. I mean, I know that you don't believe in looking at how rich the owner is. They have the richest owner, right? They have the richest owner in baseball, and it seems like some of this he is still operating as if he's still with the Brewers. Like I understand Alonzo in 5 years, but like, and he didn't want to give 5 years to Diaz, but like they couldn't come up with another 3 million to get Edwin Diaz, like dicking around over a couple million when it's a guy that's been awesome for you. That seems questionable. I don't
Yeah,
know.
when uh well, and so there's kind of a fork in the road of two different conversations there. One is what like I think David Stearns is trying to accomplish, and the other is what he needs to do. And talking about what like I think he's trying to accomplish is the locker room. I think we'd all agree was not cohesive last year, and that was a team that had the second highest payroll that didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, yeah.
And
So
so in his head, he's like, I can't run that back. I
yeah.
just can't. I got to do something else. And so in
Yes,
his,
but they also were like leading the league. They had the best record in baseball halfway through, or whatever else.
yeah,
So it's not like they were doomed from the beginning. I
but I
mean,
think that kind of speaks to the locker room, right? Like you have all the talent in the room, the world. So if you fall down the stretch, I think a lot of that might be locker room, right? Like, and I don't
hard
know,
to know.
like, but clearly they think it is because otherwise some of these moves just purely wouldn't make sense. And if there really is this battle between Soto and Lindor, whether it's a low simmer or a high boil, they're not moving either of those two, right? So
And
like
that's the
the
problem. If that's the
right, like they got to
when
move the
you're hearing
pieces
that,
around it.
those are the guys that they haven't gotten rid of. When you're hearing that the
Yeah,
locker
they
room.
can't move those guys. But okay, so if he's trying to do that, some of that makes sense. But then kind of like when the Yankees missed out on Soto, and all Yankees fans were pissed for a while, and then all of a sudden the Yankees got super aggressive. All of a sudden, Max Fried's coming in, Goldschmidt's coming in, Bellinger's coming in. I think the Mets are going to do something like that now, and so I think this story might be different in a couple weeks.
Oh
But
yeah.
there's but it definitely means if they weren't before, they have to be in on Tucker now. They have
Uh,
to be in on Tucker now because they need two outfielders, not one. I think.
it
Um,
doesn't. You know, what you're saying makes sense, but I'm not gonna go with that because all night long after Diaz, and you hear everybody, whatever every story was. Who likes the story the best is Pete Alonzo because now they're just gonna back the truck up and give him his cash. Like they gotta get Pete now that they let Diaz go, and then now that
yeah.
Alonso's gone, they gotta get Tucker. I think that they don't want long-term deals, and I mean maybe, but then you get into it seems like they're trying to get, wait for optimal deals, which is nice. But again, I would say when you've got the richest owner and you're big, like you can't always just wait on. Like maybe you got to throw an extra year to a guy or an extra couple million. That's your chance to go for a guy. But if you're just waiting for the perfect deal, but yeah, Tucker is if it sticks to what it's been, that's going to be a lot of years. I don't know.
Well, so yeah, so that go okay. So now I want to talk about the other fork because that was what I think Stearns wants to do. But then the needs to do is exactly what you're talking about because I was just before this podcast, I was watching the podcast, the SNY Mets podcast. Like I don't it's as official of a Mets podcast as you're gonna get. And
There's like 50 Mets. I mean,
yeah,
this is
yeah.
the other. Everybody talks about the New York media, and I was watching like, oh my God, the amount of Mets
Oh, it's crazy.
coverage.
Yeah. So, but all of them are saying the same thing. It's like there's this like weird entitlement to big market teams where they're like, we have money, spend money, and like they're upset about that because it's like we're the Mets, we have to just spend money, and where I think David Stearns wants to become a smart money team. Call
Yeah,
back to
yeah,
our last podcast,
yeah, yeah.
the fans are going to insist on some dumb money moves.
I mean,
And
well, going back to our last one too, Soto to me is a dumb money move. Like that was, I mean, that was them,
well, that's what we were talking
that
about
was
last
them
week.
flexing though and saying like, we know. I mean, they had to have been saying themselves like, we know the end of this deal is going to be garbage for us, but
Yeah.
we have to get a big guy and.
And the
Yeah.
fans are gonna. That's why I'm saying Tucker is because the fans are gonna get really loud here. And
Mm.
while I think David Stearns is probably thinking, okay, I need to get a guy like Ryan O'Hearn who can be a stopgap at first base. The Mets fans are not going to get excited about Ryan O'Hearn. And there's not a lot of free agents left that I think the Mets fan base are going to be excited about.
There's still a lot of guys out there. There
Yeah,
are. But then there's the question too of like, so early, I guess the early guys that go make their money. Like, even though I wouldn't say, I guess Cease was a little bit higher than expected, but like Alonso's numbers weren't crazy for what he's done. I mean,
yeah,
it's probably like a year too long or whatever, but it's not crazy. I
yep.
guess that the deals are going to get better, but yeah, the pickings get slim, and then you start to get into like, yeah, we're going to take the third. That was what Diaz for the Dodgers. I mean, I think Alonso, if Alonso had happened first, I don't know. But Alonso, I could justify more the letting Diaz go when it was only 3 years and it was only a few million and not being able to get that done. That feels more like they're dicking around when they've got the money to spend. But who
Well,
knows? Who knows?
maybe who knows? Edwin Diaz might have signed with the Dodgers without giving the Mets a chance to increase
Yep,
because my guess is the Mets offer was on the table before the Dodgers.
yep, yep,
So who knows
yep.
what happened behind the
And it
scenes?
could all relievers are volatile, and the same as Devin Williams could be awesome after last year being bad. Dodgers spent all this money on relievers last year, and it blew up in their face. So
Yeah,
it seems exciting, but that could absolutely go the other direction. But
the best
just
place.
again, it's the like if you're the Brewers and you're having to be smart on all these picks and you're having to navigate it, yes. But if you're the Mets, who theoretically should be, when you think about the poker table and the guys with the big stack, and if you're just sitting there playing conservative, like it's not going to work out. You got to push people
Yeah,
around a little bit. With
yep.
Diaz, who's beloved, who's been the best closer for however many years, like you think they got to do a little pushing around there, but yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, can you imagine the Mets fans watching the trumpets come out in Los Angeles
That's
when?
why
Oh, it's
I
going to be so
if we had
painful.
recorded this tomorrow, because I have little trumpets coming in the mail. And last night because I watched that, I was getting all revved up about them, and last night when I went to bed, I was like actually having to try to get the song out of my head because I had the little trumpet going in my head. But yeah, that could totally
That's
blow
going to
up.
break their heart.
I don't think if they go after Tucker, I think they're starting to go they're going the wrong direction, that they've backed themselves in the corner of having to get really long-term things. If I was them,
What? Oh,
I
go
would
ahead.
go and get two of those three the big Japanese guys. I mean, like, am I,
Murakami in particular,
yeah,
like,
Murakami and am I, because they're supposed to be great. I mean, who knows? They're not going to be. We'll see what kind of money they're asking for. But with the Japanese market, and they've already got Senga, although maybe they're moving Senga too.
yeah, I'm not clear what his.
They just pay off getting yourself big in that market, being able to sell that you've just picked up these two huge guys in the Japanese market is going to pay for itself in ways
I
that
like that.
it's worth throwing some extra money in there.
Yep, I like that idea a lot. I think you're right on with that. If you remember, like the Mets came up as uh, my pick for Murakami Anamai is the second pick. But the other person I think they have to throw money at now to just get the fan base to start believing that there is a plan is Ranger Suarez. Like you put him at the top of your uh, rotation. Like I think that settles the fan base down considerably if they sign him. And I said he was going to the Mets from day one, even though no one else was really linking him to the Mets. But
Where
I
are they
think
going to
he
get? But they're still competing with everybody, and there's less guys on the board. They're still competing with people that need starting pitching. Like, are they going to be like getting a deal? They're not going to be getting a deal. That's what
no, but
um
I think he gets 3 years.
Suarez.
Yeah, so like I think he fits what they're trying to do, and he's what the biggest name pitcher on the board, probably.
Framber, Framber,
They well, if
Framber.
they, I want them to get Framber now, them
Um,
are the Giants. You know, I like those circuses.
King. People really like King. I don't know anything about him. But yeah, what about Bellinger? What would there be some satisfaction of getting Bellinger from the Yankees?
I saw some talk about that, but in my head, I don't know how the Yankees let him go at this point unless they're making a real play for Tucker. Like
That's the other thing is like
they have to
the Mets are
keep him.
in the news, the Yankees are not. Like that's it. Like Mets are angry, but they seem to like be doing something. The Yankees haven't. Have the Yankees done any? What have the Yankees done?
I don't know. I mean, they signed Trent Grisham to his
Oh
qualifying
yeah,
offer.
they got a guy that they didn't want to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so like it feels like Bellinger is probably coming back.
I just didn't know if the New York taking the guy from the Yankees might make people
Like they got Soto, so like they're
a little happy, but who knows?
they're just
But
scraping off the Yankees.
so going back to my theory that we're big market, small market, that's our theme. But this is the question of like, how do you build? Well,
How do you build a big market team and can you pair the big market with the small market stuff?
yes, because
Yeah.
if we're talking about our Brewers and our Dodgers
Big market
and
money, small market
doing
genius.
doing it well, they're different kind of teams, right? So
Yeah.
like the Brewers are not in on these guys, which is not great. But the Brewers, there's also the persona of you have a farm system come up, you get the rookie cards, you get to be the guys that are excited about young guys that are full of energy that they debut there. You're not going to be able to hold them forever, but that's how you build the team. Um, and you make your trades when it's time. To maximize the value you get before they're gone. And if you're a big market team, you're in on these long contracts, but you're getting guys that are long in the tooth, and you know that the last couple seasons are probably not going to be worth it at all. And you're looking for your spots where you can actually get prospects up, or you're trading your prospects away to have to go get these guys. So yeah, trying to navigate it both ways, and it seems like yep, Stearns is trying to figure it out, but I don't know. I don't know. I mean, they're just and it also we're saying all this. It might just be they're just trying to get rid of all the old. They're just trying to get rid of all the Wilpon, like the people that are left from the old regime, and like be able to
Yeah.
start from scratch. But
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's some combination of that happening in there, fixing the clubhouse. But also, like, it is true. You don't make the playoffs with that type of payroll. David Stearns has to be thinking, Steve Cohen's looking over my shoulder. If I don't fix this, I'm gone. And so, like, if running it back seems like just I'm not doing my job as a GM.
I mean, so far. Oh, you mean if they had maintained the same?
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
they're definitely, but how far off of?
But
I mean,
now
the
he's
guys
got,
that they got rid of are the guys that were succeeding.
I
Like
mean,
the
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of talk about like that. What I guess I don't know enough about how this is projecting, but I keep hearing over and over that Pete Alonzo projects not to age well. And that's why they didn't want to give him that deal. That
Because
said,
people
the
look at his
guy hasn't
body.
missed a
People look at
game.
his body and they just say like
Yeah.
he looks kind of out of shape.
And he runs kind of awkward, like he is a polar bear, but he hasn't missed a game in 2 years. In each of those 2 years, he's hit 50 home runs.
His
Like
batting metrics were better this
he's a
year.
monster. And
Yeah.
so, like, to say, okay, he doesn't project to 36, back to your point, is like, but do you need him to? Like if you have that money, you need him to win the next three,
Yeah, yeah.
hopefully 4 years, and then you lay an egg those last couple of years, but you got it.
This is also like just free agency world, but like, and you could tell me as a Brewers fan, like if we're saying like for Tucker and like the good thing about signing those long-term guys is you get attachment to guys and people can buy jerseys and you've got kids that grow up that are big Soto fans or whatever else. If you're only ever getting people on 2 year with a opt-out clause, like does anybody ever get attachment to the guys? So if they're being smart and they're getting rid of all these guys that are beloved, are they just going to be bringing in like hired guns for like I don't know, is that a smart thing? But you tell me. I mean, you have, but you feel. I mean, my assumption as a Brewers fan, like you don't have resentment for, like you still feel good about Contreras, right?
Oh yeah, you would.
Or
Well,
not Contreras, but
you'd much rather be, or it's much easier to be attached to a guy that came up in your organization, stayed for 6 years, and then went and had success other places, rather than just
you're
like,
not booing him. You're not booing him when he comes
no,
back.
no, you're giving him a
Yeah,
standing ovation.
yeah, yeah,
But versus some guy that's now 31 that comes in to play for 4 years, it's like,
yeah, yeah,
oh yeah, no, he played for us,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like he played for us, but he's not a Brewer.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
then the fan base, so they got to work on their fan base. They're not saying, I guess they're holding their cards close to their vest, or they don't. I don't know if they've got a story that they can tell, but the fan base. Again, I was watching. It was Diaz specifically that I was watching people just like, oh my God, like, and it was specifically because it was the Dodgers too. Of like,
the
we couldn't
Dodgers,
because people thought people were worried about, yeah, we're gonna have to sign, we're gonna have to give him 5 years to keep him, and then they heard he went to the Dodgers. They're like, oh shit, Dodgers must have given him 5 years, and then they heard it was 3 years. They're like, what in the fuck happened?
yeah, and it was
And
69 million.
yeah,
So it was, I mean, it's the highest a relief pitcher's ever been paid, but it was just peanuts over where they were
yeah.
offering. So it tells you he wanted to get out of town too for whatever reason.
Um,
But
So like yeah, the fan base, like what can they get excited about? I don't know. We'll see. Stearns could be
they're
smart.
going to have to go for pitchers. And I do like your idea of going after Japanese players. That would create a lot of excitement for the Mets for sure. They're going to have, but they like on I'm telling you right now, making a prediction. If the canary in the coal mine for me is if they sign Ryan O'Hearn, they're basically in a weird rebuild middling project that the fans are going to hate. Ryan O'Hearn will be the decider. I'm telling you.
Oh, if they sign him,
If they
that's
sign Ryan O'Hearn, they
and
are just trying to get through the next couple of years.
they just put out word. There was words out that they want Newt Bar. They want everybody's favorite Dutch legend Newt Bar. Newt Bar. I can't remember who else was being rumored that they
The
had shown
pepper
interest in.
pepper grinder Newt Bar.
Yeah.
So I mean, but he played for Team Japan, so that might be part of their plan is to go after these Japanese guys and get Newt Bar as well, because he'll play for Team Japan in the WBC as well.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see.
So there you go.
And we haven't gotten into trades. You've said that they have a full and again, like people were railing on them, but everybody kind of follows the sheep and you get the whole story of everybody saying the same thing, then a day later it's gonna be okay. Going back to the Dodgers, who I should just bleep out. At the trade deadline, they did nothing, and fan base was pissed off for a while. Like, what are we doing? Like, we got to go in. Da, da, da. And that was a situation where they had a plan, seemed to work out over time.
Yeah,
It
the
kind
Mets clearly have some other plan for sure. This isn't happening in a bubble. And I'm telling you, I think
I just keep
they're
hearing more guys that they might get rid of.
they're gonna make a couple big moves. They're going to. They just can't not. A team with that much money can't survive a season of just the fans just hating what they're doing. A GM
Yeah,
can't
it
survive
feels
it.
like, well, it feels like they're doing. They got to hope they're not doing what the Mavericks with Nico Harrison, who it's
Yeah, yeah.
same thing with where he maybe was projecting out and he was looking at the numbers and he had his idea evaluation for Doncic and now he's gone and just everybody just yeah hated him and he couldn't show up to the games anymore without yeah
Yeah. People
you're
throwing cups
yeah
at them.
so we'll see what happens it does there is the worry and I don't know you tell me about Stearns again like he's a young guy. You have the smartest guy in the room, young guys that are sabermetricians who take these teams, and there's the worry that like he's too stuck in his like again like I've calculated that
Yeah.
Diaz is worth 18.7, and this is the number, and we are not going to budge from that whatsoever. And I mean, as a competitor of the Mets, I hope that's what they keep doing because they're going to lose out on every damn free agent. But Who
I don't
knows?
know. Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see. I hadn't really been thinking about them signing two of the Japanese players. You kind of blew my mind with that. If that happens like that, then it's clear they had a plan all along, and this was probably a pretty good idea. Um, but we'll
Then
see.
you've got then you've got the mystery, then you've got the new market. Yeah, I mean it's not it's
It's
all
much better idea than signing Framber Valdez. I know everybody loves him. I know he's a great pitcher, but just like he's just going to be bad for the clubhouse. You already have like, is he going to get along with Juan Soto? You better hope so.
Bregman's still on the
Lindor.
board. Bregman's still on the board.
Oh, by the way, I saw an interview with Devin Williams, and they were just asking him questions, and they were like, "How's your welcome to the Mets?" And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, I had a bunch of players reach out to me," and they asked him, they're like, "Who reached out to you?" And he's like, first thing he said was Lindor, and
Oh
then he's
yeah,
like Manaya, whatever, whatever, and then they were like, "Soto reach out?" And he's like, no, no, not yet."
it's
and uh,
interesting.
and so I don't know if I should read anything into that, but like it goes back to my thing. I'm convinced that Soto is bigger than the team in his own mind right now, um, and he's
And that,
not going to be a great right fielder. He's not going to be a good team leader.
I mean, if you really think about it, well, everything we're saying, for one, yeah, they went all in last year on Soto. They gave the biggest deal they've given to anybody, so that was big market. They didn't make the playoffs, so I mean, maybe it's just as simple as we just spent a shit ton of money on a long-term guy. We didn't make the playoffs. Let's not do that this year and let's like regroup.
Yep,
So maybe they're just yeah,
yep, yeah.
maybe they're just burned on, but can't do Tucker if that's the case. You just can't.
I
If they
wouldn't
do
think so.
Tucker,
Well, that's
if
why
they
I'm
do,
saying want to do, need to do. He would be a need to do for the fans, but like that's not what Stearns wants to do for sure. But he would want to sign Ranger Suarez. I'm sure of that.
yeah, yeah,
Yep.
okay, probably. So this time next week, are we gonna know a lot more about the Mets, or is it gonna take a while?
Yeah, I think we'll see them do the same thing as the Yankees did. I think we're going to see a big signing, at least one next week. They better get on their horse because people are going to start signing pretty quick now that the winter meetings are over.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I
I have one. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
don't know. That's it. I was just. It was fun watching all those 50 different Mets podcasts, seeing all the different accents and all the different guys coming up with ways to just say like, "These fucking guys, these fucking
Yeah.
guys." Yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
they're in a low right now, but they'll come back. And in our first ever Mets podcast, we've become the number one Mets podcast in America. It's great. Okay, so we're gonna leave it at that. But as we go out the door, I do have one last prediction. It's not about the Mets. It's about your Los Angeles Dodgers. This time next week, we are going to be talking about the signing of Harrison Bader. This time next week. That's my hot take prediction. So there you go.
I could see it. I could see it.
All right. That's this week in base hit. Good luck to you, Met fans. Stay strong. Good things are coming. Don't worry. Until next week, we are out of here.